Okay, so today we'll be starting up with the first unit. Okay,
Okay, ma'am.
I'll be opening the notes. If you get the PDF, just let me know. Okay.
Sure, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It's showing emergence of psychology,
Yes.
Buddhism, right?
Yes, Buddhism. So the first chapter speaks about emergence of psychology. Here you'll be studying about the Buddhism. See, what do you understand by the word Buddhism? See, it was started in India from the uh, place of enlightenment. Buddhism means enlightenment. At the time of literature only this was started, and it was believed to have started in India by Siddhartha Gautami in the year, who was born between 566 to 480 BC, and is now what now in Nepal. You know anything about Buddhism? A little bit.
Yes, I read it in history and also in my master's.
Mm-hmm.
I know some Buddhist people also, but
Uh-huh.
not in that detail because
Okay, no issues, no
some,
issues.
yeah.
So here the Buddha means awakened one, referring to the enlightenment. So according to Buddhist literature, it was proposed that he would become king, stay at home, or great sage, or happiness. Just spreading everywhere is some kind of Africanness, enlightening the people. Okay, and Siddhartha's father did not want his son to leave home because he was only one son and he had to take his throne away and he has to follow his footsteps. But still, there was one story which went on. Siddhartha grew up surrounding by various so many luxuries and only the pleasures. So he lived in palaces, shielded from any person's ugliness offered by his father, that he would not experience in the human suffering. But what happened? Siddhartha became restless with his luxury of life because he didn't want to do any kind of work. All luxuries were surrounded with him. So he wondered what else there was in life and demanded to see the outside world. So his father demanded and allowed him to see the outside world. So what he did, he tried his limits out of the luxuriousness. So some kind of experiences with others to young, healthy people. So this was really could not happening. Now, how they had things, beliefs in that thing was they had four sides during the period. So according to his viewpoint, his father's, during his travel in outside the world, Siddhartha came to know about four insights or four new things that he really experienced, and that was a really shocking thing for him. Okay, the first one was Siddhartha came across four sights that he left lasting impressions on him. Okay, so since he had never seen old and decrepit people before, he was shocked when he came across the old man. Okay, he saw old people, he saw poor people, he saw ill people, sick people suffering from various diseases. Okay, and he saw a funeral party by the side of the river, which he would never seen in the palaces where he lived.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, so when he was trying to find out more about old men, he stumbled upon a very ill person. So this was even more shocking that he never know or seen such illness before because he was living in a luxury. And then he saw a funeral party by the side of the river. This too was really new and more shocking for all of him. And lastly, he encountered a traveling monk who had given up all the pleasure of the flesh. So these are the four insights which
Yes,
was
ma'am.
really a life changing and a shocking for Siddhartha. Then he started to learn some simple truth from which he had really shielded. So we all will get sick, we all will get old, we all will get surrounded by so many diseases, and we all may die one day. So this is this truthness or bitterness of the life. So what he did, he tried to, decided to abandon his precious life. And rather than leading a good luxury life, he wanted to devote himself to working out a day to and until unless he needs to put some kind of, efforts in seeing what is being life exactly is about. So his initial method was to emulate the traveling monk, deny all the pleasures, follow a life of extreme asceticisms. Okay, but this was really killing him. That means he was really worried. What could save him one day could speak about some kind of beautiful sound, somebody playing in the string on the musical instrument. So he imagined, okay, if a string is too tight, it will break and being ruined. If it is too loose, also, It'll not get beautiful music, right? It should be in a proper way. The string should
Yes,
be
ma'am.
arranged in a proper way, neither too the tight nor the too
To
loose.
lose, yes.
Yes, then only the this he related to the life. So Siddhartha
Yeah.
applied this experience to his own existence and formulated the idea of the middle way. So do not deny the physical body totally, and yet do not live life to indulge the bodies every whim. So Siddhartha meditated one of his sometime and eventually came to understanding the concept of enlightenment. As I told you, Buddhism speaks about enlightenment. So after this, he became known as Buddha or enlightened one. So he started into preaching fields. Okay, he started to teach philosophy. He gained so many things. Okay, after going through his life of self-denial, discipline, meditation, spreading, awareness, enlightenment, he really saw the elevations of the pain and sufferings among the things. Then later, he embarked on a journey of teaching of others to, he also wanted others also to follow his own way. Okay, everybody knew that there is the life cycle of the life, right? Starting from the birth to death. So gradually, what happened? Buddhism slowly started to spread in so many countries. Okay, it was originally expanded by inculcations of Central Asian, East, and South. Today Buddhism, as we can see, experience here, and there is a book, and there are so many preachings, teachings about Buddhism till we can hear, right? So today Buddhism has spread to almost all the
Yes,
countries all
ma'am.
over the world.
World.
So many people are following it also, and many people go to
And ma'am, now
Buddhist.
Buddhist school has also been started to
Yes,
establish. Earlier, there was not
exactly.
any
No school,
Buddhist school.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. Now there's Buddhist schools, it has been started and they're spreading everywhere. Everywhere they try to have this.
In fact, Korea, China, and
Exactly.
everyone.
China has become 80% of
Yeah, in
Buddhism
fact,
only. Yeah.
Korea also. Like I
Korea
watch
is
Korean
100%, I
dramas,
believe.
so
Ha, ha,
they
ha.
are half Christian and half Buddhist. So it's
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. So the largest population is in China. Thailand, Cambodia, and Myanmar has the largest populations of the Buddhist in the population. So Buddhism also has become a most widely practiced in Australia, America, and UK. Now slowly there are many other countries also which has been following. Now, what are the branches of Buddhism? Yes. See, although there are many divisions or school within Buddhism, there are three main branches which differ in some areas. You have first one, Theravada Buddhism, Mahayana, and Vajrayana. Now, very important, three main branches are there. Okay, now we'll see the first one. The first one is Hinayana. So it's also called as Theravada Hinayana. It's nothing but path of elders. So here
मैम
it
हमारे
mainly.
पेपर में क्या नाम याद रखना चाहिए? पाथ ऑफ एल्डर्स है हिनायना या फिर तेराविदा वाला?
No, you need to remember all the three. Theravada means Hinayana, Hinaya means path of elders. The
Okay.
questions might be twisted, or either they'll ask path of elders.
Yeah,
So
it's
you
like a
need,
multiple
yes,
choice you have to.
MCQs, na? So
Yeah.
possibility of all the three.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
So it focuses on individual enlightenment and experiences as well as monastic life. So here it holds firmly the original teachings, the themes of Buddha. And in his parts of the first one, he, what he did, he could achieve the goal of nirvana, okay, which means enlightening freedom from cycle to death. And again, he thinks that there is a rebirth of the mankind. So, in name translates to the doctrine of elders. So, as he says that he has bought one script for this, okay, that's called as doctrine of elders. That can be Pali scriptures, transcript from oral to thoughts of Buddhism. So, he has made very simple for this translations of the doctrines. So, by studying these ancient texts given by him, okay, and meditating the following eightfold path, so this Theravada or Hinayana believes that they will achieve enlightenment. So main concept of this Theravada means to achieve enlightenment. And
Okay.
strong emphasis was placed on monastic community and on heeding the advices of the wise. So the Mahayana Buddhism, the great vehicle, focuses on some kind of collective freedom. So in second thing, what he says, first thing is achieving enlightenment. Second thing is through what you can achieve, through what ways you can inculcate. So a number of individual schools were opened, traditionally have formed under Mahayana, including Zen Buddhism, Tibetan, Pure Land, and Tantric Buddhisms. And so many monks are there, as you said that you have come across so many, okay, things. They really have certain rules that they will not talk to certain people. They are very restricted. Have you come across these people? Few monks are there. They really don't speak to few people, few community people, or they
Yes,
don't allow
ma'am.
the
Yes.
other community people to come across also.
Yes,
They
ma'am.
don't want these community people to come. I don't know why. And I know they're very restricted.
It's like they
And
are biased towards other people. It's
exactly,
like
they are
their
very
mindset.
biased.
Yeah.
Exactly. And they're very much, attached to certain things. They only preach, they only stay, okay, they only preach Buddhism and all. So, a number of schools and traditions have formed under the banner of Mahayana, including Zen Buddhism. All these are there. So, the third thing comes Vajrayana Buddhism, the diamond thunderbolt vehicle. So, quicker path to enlightenment. So, it is a path for enlightening the future. Quickly, you can follow this. That is what the third one says. So, therefore,
But the first one, that part to elders, it
mhm,
also talked about enlightenment, right?
it is the way to enlightenment. That's what I will.
Okay.
Don't get confused. See here. First one is how will you achieve? Here you can
Okay.
see the last line. I'll just show you 1 minute. See, it believe they will achieve enlightenment, but if you follow the
Okay.
paths. And in this, what they are telling in the third one, the diamond thunderbolt vehicle, quicker path, quickly how you can
Okay.
achieve it. So
Okay.
these are the Buddhist tantras and rituals. So they believe that physically have an effort on spirituality, and that see these Buddhist people and monks, they always believe in this spiritual things more. Okay, they think that birth is there, that
Yes,
again rebirth
ma'am.
will happen, again people will
Superstitions
come.
and every spiritual things are same for them.
Exactly. So Vajrayana Buddhist encourage rituals, chanting, tantras, mantras, so many techniques. Okay, just in an order way or the way to achieve the enlightenment.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, what are the teachings of Buddhism? Yes. See, since Buddha does not refer to any unique individual, so he only focuses on bringing, enlightenment, spirituality, okay, following the threefold path of the life, how to achieve enlightenment, the ways to achieve the enlightenment. His teachings, okay, include so many ways to help individuals develop compassions and avoiding illusions that cause attachments and bring suffering to an individual and those to the individual in acting with the people. So they always, wanted some process, guidings, and this was done by only the Buddha. So this guide the process, which is really known as dharma or dhamma. That means patrons of reality. Buddhist teachings, the path, the ultimate growth of Buddhism, that is nirvana.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, so nirvana means a state of beyond suffering. So dharma is thus the most important element in Buddhism. So his teachings are really recorded, scripted, enacted, known as canons, which is derived from the oral tradition at the time of Buddha and really perceived through the communal chanting. Next comes literatures. Yes, of all the collections, Buddhist writings, the first and the best known is Pali Canon. So, where Pali is dead language related to the Sanskrit and perhaps similar to the language of the Buddha. So, the Pali Canon is composed of three separate collections called as Basket, which is written in Pali in Sri Lanka around the middle of the first century BC. Okay, very important literature. This
Mm.
is okay. It was the first one actually. What he
Yeah,
did.
and this Pali canon can be asked in multiple choice also, no?
Yes. So his first collections, literature collections of Buddhism. So the scripture consists of three baskets or pitaka. Baskets is also called as scriptures. What he did as known as pitaka. That is Sutta, Vinaya, and Abhinandanma. See, Sutta means Buddha's sermons. Okay. And Vinayana means monastic rules, and Abhinandama means scholastic works. That's SVA and VAS. So a way to Remember. How you can remember three things: SVA or VSAS in exam if you just want to remember.
Okay, ma'am.
So one is the basket of discipline, that is Vinaya, which includes the rules of monks and nuns. So regulations and rules are really of monastic life. Will really change from dress code and dietary rules to prohibitions to certain personal conduct. And Sutta is what? It's another basket of writing. Here, major sources from where the Buddhism, it speaks about mainly disciplines in the sources from where they can get it. And the Buddha delivered all his sermons in Magadhana, that means the local language of northeastern India, where Buddha was born, raised, and he was educated as well. So these sermons were rehearsed orally during the meetings of first Buddhist council. So they used to read this, revise this orally. They used to rehearse it. So the teaching continued to be transmitted orally until they were written down in the first century BC. And the third is called as Abhidhamma, that is further teachings. So, which is about the scholastic works, philosophical and psychological analysis, and interpretations of Buddhist doctrines. Yes, clear with these three concepts?
Yes, ma'am. It's a little bit like in a complicated side, this
But it is
PDF.
little,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, but it is,
Otherwise, it's easy to like memorize because
uh,
एक बार सुन लिया तो हो जाएगा अब याद.
yes, yes. So next, your key principles of Buddhism. Yes, see, Buddhism is, preachings. Here, Buddhism is more than a religion. They only concentrate on attaining the this one enlightenment. Okay, it focuses on something called as personal spiritual development, as I told you. And it is more of philosophy and a humanistic way of life. They know that birth, death, and again rebirth. So, being aware of one's thoughts and actions and developing wisdom, compassion, and understandings. So then the basics of Buddhism are converted into these many. Okay, dukkha, clinging, four noble truths, eightfold path, concentration, and mindfulness. Now we'll see what is this each and everything. Dukkha is what? A very broad and central concept in Buddhist psychology. Dukkha, which is usually translated as suffering, but actually means something closer to an unsatisfactory, which is not still satisfied. Okay, that means something they are trying to achieve and that is still not satisfied to them. So literal transition, it includes hard to bear, off the mark, or any kind of frustrations which has been there. So it may include any kind of anxiety. In the Western psychology, they call it to be as a anxiety also. So a very common example, if you see, reality does not match how one wants or experience reality to be. This is true, right? See, if we want something that we want that to happen, it will not happen. Reality will be different. Right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So this dispensaries can be a part of feedback mechanism to guide the behavior, according to Glanter Miller, they say. So therefore, dukkha arises when there is discrepancy, causes an undesired emotion, anxiety, frustration, unsatisfaction situation, you can say, of the life. So dukkha then impairs one's behavior with one's thinking. For example, if one child or co-worker is not acting as one wants, then they are satisfied or they are frustrated, they are having some kind of tension, anxiety, or etc. So, but if the discrepancy also causes anger, then one may think less clearly and thus be very less effective. So, one may compare one's image of oneself with an ideal or possible self. So, as a base feedback, they have to really change the behavior. That
Yes,
means,
ma'am.
see, he's telling in a very simple way. Steen and Mark says that when you compare this other words in previous paragraph, a little confusing it was. So he told directly, it is one people, their imagination, their ideology, how they have to be, and main thing that the behavior and the personal growth of the people is dukkha. And Higgins and Roger
Yes,
says that
ma'am.
the people who is under anxiety or depression. That's it. So, or then acts to reduce the dukkha. So how this can be reduced? How anxiety can be reduced? So according to Herthon, he says that there are few certain negatively reinforced behaviors that will really describe, or it may be really problematic, or such kind of being eating. See, negativity is hard to remove, right? Once people have some negative things in their mind, it becomes really difficult for them, right, to remove.
So true, ma'am.
Exactly. So it may have the causes of self deceptions, lying to oneself, or denying oneself to certain information, or to have some kind of thing. See, these are the various definitions of dukkha given by various authors. And dukkha, according to May in 1947, Yolom states that dukkha based on feelings of isolation. Yes, when people are in anxiety, they don't talk to others. They try to isolate themselves, and they don't want to relate to the other things or people or something. So therefore dukkha is very general concept that really cuts so many domains and well-being of the life. Sometimes it may lead to bad diseases also. So always they should consult some good psychologist and see to it that this dukkha has to be removed. The feeling of depression, anxiety, fear, unsatisfaction has to be removed. Next is clinging. Yes, the mind has a tendency to crave for and cling to certain sensations, perceptions, beliefs, attitude, opinions, rituals, reality, show, okay, and some kind of seriousness, which is really, associated with the life. So, in terms of Buddhism, carving and clinging is the cause of dukkha. Yes, because dukkha is a feeling of anxiety and depression. See, anxiety and depression is behavior, again, thinking level, that's perception, some kind of beliefs, some kind of expectations. All these
Yes,
are,
ma'am.
yes, associated with anxiety and frustrations, correct.
Yeah.
So the
This
reason
dukkha and
comparing,
cringing are, it's like a linked together.
yeah, you can say two faces of the same coin. And the reason comparing one's
Yes,
perception of
ma'am.
oneself is dukkha. So a possible of the cause of how one life should be at some point, even when the realistic has one good life. So if one clings to something as it is at some time, so there's a relationship to child or spouse or a restaurant or a vacation, plays one's youth, and to one suffering of dukkha when it changes. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So if one does not change, okay, there is no dukkha. Just 1 minute, Aiksha.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So if one does not cling, there is no dukkha. So if there is no dukkha, and one can go along with the change and perhaps influence the changes. That means the relationship, okay, some kind of changes that occurs in the behavior. If one clings to certain ideas or opinions, one will suffer dukkha. For example, if they are into negative thoughts, and the result would be they would suffer dukkha. That is anxiety. Correct. Frustration, anxiety leads to dukkha. So one, when one is wrong or having some kind of negative thoughts, they will probably have trouble recognizing what is wrong and what is changing in their mind. Instead, one may come up with reasons and why not really is wrong. Okay, clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So when you see clinically, when you talk about people's point of view, see, every people are not same. All five fingers are not same. So all individuals are not same. Every individual's behavior differ from person to person. So even if they're not working well in some cases, because the people really define themselves in terms of behaviors and cling to those self images. So clinging results in some kind of psychological effects. Why they have said psychological effects? Can you tell me? Psychological effects, because it is affects the behavior. No, one,
Ma'am, it's kind of like a obsession also.
yeah.
Clinging,
When
it's like a
people have,
obsession to somebody or to someone else.
yeah. See, one people is gone in negative thoughts, we cannot change. Can you
Yes.
change their behavior if one person started to become alcoholic? Can you change his behavior? Can you force him to change his behavior? It should come from within him. So it is the thing that he needs to have changes in him. Okay, when the change would make the person's life more effective and happier. So clinging impairs
Yes, ma'am, we
behavior
can't change it.
changes.
Sorry, मेरा mic वो हो ही नहीं पा रहा था.
It's okay, it's okay. No issues, no issues, no issues. I got it that there might be some issues. So it is really reducing, cleaning improves something. So in addition to dukkha and resistance to change, cleaning may also produce some kind of distortions in the perceptions. And when you start seeing this, you cannot make the assumptions. It becomes very, very difficult for people to do the assumptions. So this relates
Yes,
clinging to the
ma'am.
dynamics of many psychological theories, such as dynamic. Dynamic means changing. People's behavior tend to change time to time. We cannot change that. So cognitive dissonance theory, the new look in perception. See, in perception, there are so many theories, okay,
Yes.
relating to behavior. So in the
Hmm.
dissonance, cognitive is one of the theory which speaks about the thinking level and the mind.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
here it speaks about the schemas in the cognitive psychology.
It's basically social psychology and cognitive
Exactly.
psychology का mixture.
Yes. So glasses suggested that there are some things positive addictions. Okay, it may be meditations. Okay, in psychology, which was given by Buddha, yoga. Okay, to concentrate or to be motivated, always keep yourself happy. Get committed to some kind of things which really helps the people to come out or change their behavior. Do exercises, eat healthy food, some kind of biological or perhaps psychological health changes really require that who are suffering from dukkha, that is the anxiety. So one who cannot jog as well as prohibited by the weather, they can go for some other exercises like yoga and meditation. Very important, which is said in
Yes,
the
ma'am.
Buddhism. Yes, now these are the few key principles of the Buddhism. Yes, we did till clinging, right? And after that also we did.
Yes, ma'am. Clinging के बारे में ही पढ़ा है हमने मैम एंड
हाँ
में.
हाँ हाँ
बट 4 नहीं होना चाहिए, ये तो 2 थे ना?
हाँ, that's what, that's what I'm checking for the next. Yeah, I'm coming over. Yeah, the next one is the Four Noble. I'm just opening that notes. Yeah. So can you see the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So the third one speaks about the Four Noble Truths. Here, Four Noble Truths are suffering exists, and suffering arises from attachment to some kind of desires. If you have some desire, if you don't get that, you really suffer out of it. And suffering ceases when attachment to desire ceases. So freedom from suffering is really possible by practicing the eight light fold path. So what he's trying to tell here is the life is filled with so many anxieties. So the first thing what they have to do is speak truth in the life. The first noble truth is that the life is filled with so many anxieties. So the second truth is that the sources of dukkha is very carving. It's really will lead to clinging. And the third is dukkha ends with carving some kind of ceases. So at this point, it's been not cured. It will really affect the present joyful pieces. So a common misunderstanding
Here
is that
everything is covered like dukkha and
exactly
then clinging and
clinging,
another points
a
also.
mixture, yes. So it will really have some kind of emotions in the things. And it is not the case. One can still experience and have some kind of preferences with over the goals without clinging. So in the sense of Buddhist psychology, okay, it's more humanistic than feudalism. It has to be really understanding the behavior, nature, okay, of the paper is not clear. People tend to change, keep changing every time in the life. So it's a matter of getting free from some kind of all deflatements. There's a, poisons of the mind. See, we cannot read the people's mind. Okay, somebody will be very
Yes,
calm,
ma'am.
somebody will be very anger, somebody will be very greedy, somebody will be very
But
jealousy.
sometimes when behavior leads to thinking, so we can actually, like, indirect way we
Exactly.
can read their behavior
Exactly.
and it leads to their mind also.
Exactly. So therefore, it leads to free from carving and difference and the eightfold paths. So these are the eightfold paths in a very simpler way. Just quickly read it. So understanding, intention, speech, action, livelihood, efforts, mindfulness, and concentration.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So right to faith means samyak drishti. You need to remember these names with that. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. Faith means drishti, resolve means sankalpa, speech means vakya, actions means karmanta, living means ajiva, thought means smriti, concentration means samidhi.
Yes, ma'am.
Efforts means vyakya. Yes. So the path is usually divided by Buddhist practitioners in three sections: wisdom, right understanding, right intentions. Wisdom means panna, which shows the right understanding and the right intentions. Second speaks about morality. Morality means right speech, right actions, and right livelihood. Morality means sila. Okay,
Okay, it's like a subdivision of these eight folds, right?
exactly, exactly. And the mental development sections consist of right efforts, right mindfulness, and concentrations. So these sections are the supportive, mutually supportive, reciprocal, and intent provide the initial intellectual reflections and the support and motivation of the experiential practices of the mindfulness, morality, and concentration. And this will really cultivate the people applications of the wisdom to all and wholesome and skillfulness. And this helps in the well-being of the things given by some Buddhist. And then next comes concentrations. As we all know that concentration means attention. So here they have given more focus for concentration. Buddhism gives more attention because when you're doing meditation,
And
yoga,
yes, ma'am, there's
concentration,
because meditation, enlightenment, everything, so sab kuch it's related to
exactly, सब कुछ
concentration.
होता है concentration से. No concentrations, nothing has been possible.
In fact,
So
in yoga nowadays we follow meditation, तो वो बुद्धिस्ट से ही वो चीज हमारी आई है जो that we all are following nowadays.
exactly. The concentration is learned control of the focus of one's attention, and it is a behavior of keeping one awareness where it varies from degrees of one pointedness. How you need to concentrate. So in Western psychology, concentration is seen as one aspect of attention, sometimes discussed in terms of focused attention, controlled attention, and sustained or vigilance. So there are so many literatures which speaks about the concentration, how you need to concentrate, skills to manage this concentration. So in Western psychology, such as sports psychology, most research and theories about concentrations are based on information. Okay, signals, noise, actions, etc. And the word literature on meditation provides, produce so much concentrations given by various murti and donations. They say that you can apply this in your practical life, and students can learn how to keep their minds free from other kind of disturbances when they are doing some kind of work. And in concentration, listening is very important. Do you believe?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, listening can skills can really improve the counselor.
Yes.
For example, if you want
Listening
to
skills, yeah,
concentrate
concentration, listening, everything is literally Buddhism. Everything is connected with each other.
each other, exactly, everything is connected with each other. So listening skills can be improved in counselor trainings and communication therapy. So athletes can be Learn not only to distract the crowd, but also stay focused on the sports because they need to concentrate in sports. If they don't concentrate on the game, they may fail. So these are related areas which are wide open for Western research. Concentration
Yes, ma'am.
training is an important, significant addition to our psychological technology. So William James suggested that concentration is a very root of judgment, character, and will, and an education is very, very important to improve the excellence. See, once applications of this is done, okay, it's very important to be self-focused to get a good attention. Attention plays a very important role in concentrating. So ADD or A ADHD. ADD is attention deficit disorder. You need to know the abbreviations.
Yes, ma'am.
Is usually treated with drugs, perhaps combined with the behavior modifications of
Yeah, in fact,
hyperactivity.
occupational and speech therapies are also nowadays
Exactly.
used to treat these
Yes,
disorders.
yes, yes. So, to what extent and how could concentration help some of the people? Yes, if people sit quietly and practices some, thing that they need to do, concentrate from meditation, then the mind becomes calm and relaxed, which one feels often feels the body to be relaxed. So, concentration produces relaxation and can be very effective for the treatment of anxiety. Sometimes it is the mind which comes from concentrations and gives so many effectiveness, that way you can control yourself, how you need to react. See, some people will not be having self control, sometimes they panic soon. So meditation concentration plays a very important role. It helps keep their mind
Yes,
calm
ma'am.
and control and give the actions. So next one is mindfulness. As mindfulness speaks about behavior. So mindfulness as a behavior of mind
Yes, ma'am.
is defined as active maximization of the breadth and clarity and also awareness. So it's a behavior of moving, sharpening the focus of awareness within the field of consciousness. So mindfulness involves simply observing the contents of the process of the mind, and it is just being aware. So bare attention, detached observations, choiceless awareness, and the essence of mindfulness training is simply noticing whatever arises in the mind, because mind plays a very important role, right? And traditionally mindfulness is cultivated through sitting, walking,
Walking,
meditation,
yes, ma'am.
chanting, remembering. And Theravada Vipassana literature. Vipassana means clear seeing, varied, okay, some extraordinary ways. And it is always called as insight meditation, inner meditation. And for example, insightness, seeing of impersonments leads to reduction of clinging. It will reduce the anxiety. And in the classic discourse, okay, Satipatthana, the Buddha suggested four foundations of mindfulness, four
Yes, ma'am.
overlapping domains in which your mind can really be cultivated: your
Yes.
body,
Mind
your
and
feelings, mind, behavior, and mental factors.
factors.
Yes, so in a therapeutic situations, your mind would get trained on how you can control, have a control over the factors, feelings, and how to control the anxiety. So mindfulness training will really help the people come out with various issues and problems. Okay, you can get aware of the environmental cues, body feelings, body sensations, organs, and thoughts. So important is moving the mindfulness back either or earlier in the chain of events. So it is easier to avoid anger with the self-control skills with when one is starting to get angry or becoming more skill oriented. So when you start working with clinging, you can have a control over your body. So in the Western research, what they say, same thing. See, everything is again repeated. These are the various thoughts given by various psychologists. Okay, you just see here. Read once, you'll get to know here.
Yes, ma'am.
These are the various psychologists. They've given same thing about the things. Just read once, glance this.
Ma'am, yes, it's basically talked about the benefits of mindfulness and how it's connected with
Exactly,
other
exactly.
things, other
Their
therapies here, right?
viewpoints,
Now?
other
Yeah,
viewpoints, yes.
ma'am, I understood it.
Yes. So behavior therapy speaks about what? How you can control your mind. So Buddha and his disciplines practice so many things that how you can control the mind. So most recently, John Kabat-Zinn developed some kind of stress reduction clinic, okay, at medical centers in University of Massachusetts. So where 16,000 medical patients have gone through this program called as mindfulness based stress reduction. They've gone through this study. So typical program was also conducted. We'd have a group of up to 30 patients meeting for about 80 weekly, 2 to 2.5 hours a class, plus 1 day along the longer classes, where they used to get trained on the mindfulness, meditations, and giving some kind of assignments, yoga practices, body sensations, organs, awareness about breathing, stress releasing, noticing if any kind of changes are happening, thoughts non catastrophically, developing concentrations, discussing, and stress coping of the body. All this has been done. Yes, so clear with this Buddhism part.
Yes, ma'am.
So, any doubts till here?
No, ma'am, no.
Yes. So, next part would be